Hey, pre-calc students, I just want to go over set notation and interval notation in case you forgot. So we want to look at the inequality on the left that says x is less than -1 because it doesn't have the or equal to line under it, which is just usually like right under it, right? Since it doesn't have that, that means that the -1 is an excluded value. So we can signify that on the graph by putting an open point on the -1. We want all the numbers less than -1, but not equal to -1. So that would be all these guys over here. Okay, less than -1. So set notation looks pretty much exactly like the inequality, except it starts with curly brackets. You're going to put x such that, and just so you know, sometimes in the future you'll see it written like this with like a vertical line. Those both mean such that. So x such that x is less than -1, and then close the curly Q brackets. Interval notation requires you to use either parentheses or brackets. So just as a quick reminder, brackets are for included values or endpoints. Okay? Parentheses are for excluded values. Gotta make sure that looks more square. Okay, so parentheses are for excluded values and for infinities. Okay? So since if you're reading this graph from left to right, it's pointing towards all the negative numbers that are infinite. So it goes infinitely to the left. So you're going to say it goes forever to the left to negative infinity. And it stops really close to -1, but it doesn't exactly land at 1, the graph, the -1. So the -1 would be in parentheses, not brackets, because it's excluded. Okay, so let's try another one. X is greater than or equal to 2. So this time the point will be closed because the 2 is included. It says greater than or equal to 2. All the numbers greater than or equal to 2 are to the right. So you're going to say x such that x is greater than or equal to 2. Now, if you're reading the graph from left to right, the shading starts at 2. Notice that in the previous problem, the shading on the left, right, if you're reading it from left to right, was towards negative infinity. Here, this one is shading towards positive infinity. So you want to tell them where the shading starts. So it starts at 2, exactly 2. It's a closed point, it's an included point, endpoint, or initial point, and then it goes forever to positive infinity. All right, so this next one is an or. So it's giving you two conditions. X is less than or equal to -1 or greater than 2. So the set notation, remember, looks pretty much exactly like the inequality. And you have to describe the shading. So from left to right, the shading starts, towards negative infinity, stopping at -1. It's a closed point. It's an included one. Then you put union because there's a little break in the shading. Hopefully you guys remember that from last year, the union symbol, and then 2 to positive infinity. And then last but not least, from -1 to +2, you're going to write it exactly like you see it in the inequality. And then the shading is not including -1, but including 2. Hope this helped. Let me know if you have any questions.